Welcome back to Joe's Math Tools, where math is made easy. In this session, we are comparing fractions when we have a mixed and an improper fraction. And if you already see how this is going to be done, let's get started. So in this example, we are comparing a mixed fraction, which is 1 and 3/5, to our improper fraction of 13/6. Now, before you get started, I would also recommend that if you are going to be comparing these fractions, especially considering the fact that their denominators are different, to convert your fraction to one or the other form. So you can either decide to start by converting the mix to an improper or the improper to a mix. That would help you better with being able to compare your fractions. And even though you can, and I'm going to stress that, you can convert your fractions to their equivalent form as is, because we have done it with our mixed fractions when we are doing the addition and subtraction. But in terms of comparing the fraction, the improper fraction and the mixed fraction, and trying to figure out which one would be larger afterwards may be a bit tricky, and it may be a bit confusing for some persons. So please make sure that before you begin, decide on which fraction you want to be using and convert your fractions to both forms. So for this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the mixed fraction. So my first thing that I'm going to do is take my 13/6, and I'm now going to convert that fraction into its mixed fraction form. So that would be my first step. And when I divide 6 into 13, I know I'm going to get 2, because 6 times 2 is 12, which will leave me with a remainder of 1. So my mixed fraction now for 13/6 is going to be 2 and 1/6. Now my next step, after I've converted this fraction into its mixed fraction form, I now need to find my LCD for my fraction. So I need them to have an equivalent denominator. So we are going to have to change them to their equivalent form in terms of fraction. So we are going to be using our cross multiplication method in this step. And with our cross multiplication method, the good thing is I do not have to worry about using the whole number. I can just focus on using the fractions only. So we're going to get started with our cross multiplication, and just like I did before, I'm going to rewrite my fractional part. So I'm not including the whole number. We'll get back to the whole number after I'm done. And I'm also going to be using my mixed fraction. Remember, we are using the mixed fraction form, so I'm going to be using 1/6. I remember that with your mixed fraction, we are multiplying our 3 times 6. So 3 times 6 will equal to 18. We're next going to multiply our 5 times 1, and 1 times 5 will equal to 5. And then for our last step, remember that we do not leave our denominator out. We're multiplying our 5 and we're multiplying our 6. So we have 5 times 6, which is equal to 30. So in both of my fractions, we now have 30 in their denominator. And after this step, I have to stress this. Please remember to not forget your whole number, because you may be tempted to compare your fractions as is, forgetting that you did have a whole number. So my whole number for my fraction was 1. So this would be 1/18 30th. And my whole number for this fraction will be 2, and this will be 5/30th. Now, for some persons, you may say, after I got the 2 here, I know this fraction was, I know you should have known that 13/6 was the larger fraction. But remember that in most cases for these type of questions, you will still have to show your working to show where you did all of the conversion in most cases. So the practice of converting your fraction is a whole lot, it gets a whole lot easier as you get better with the practice. So of course we now know that our 13/6 is the larger fraction. So we are going to open the mouth of our inequality towards that fraction. But remember, as always, get some additional practice in. Develop your skills and become better. And when you're ready to learn more about converting your fractions to their equivalent form so that you can compare them, as always, make sure to return back to Joe's Math Tools, where our goal is to make math easy.